It's pretty huge, I would say. It's going to be 24 hours of fun. We will get, as you said, the numbers first. And more crucially than the numbers, we'll get Kelly Ortberg's first sort of strategy update. He will lay out how he sees the future for Boeing, how we got here, what needs to be fixed, and where the company goes from here. And arguably, as you said, we've had the numbers. That's going to be in focus. People want to sort of delve into his strategic vision, what he plans to do, and maybe also what he doesn't plan to do going forward. We got a bit of a taste of that a couple of weeks ago when they announced the job cuts. And there was a slightly veiled message in there that Boeing can't be everything to everyone. We need to think about where the core of Boeing lies, what we can do, and that might signal that the Boeing that we'll see in a couple of years will be a slimmer, a more focused company that has probably gotten out of some businesses. So we'll probably get the first contours of that today, and the messaging will be far more important than the numbers.
Yes, and how on earth do you get the messaging right, Benny, when you've got to put messaging into an earnings release for a start, and then you've got to talk to investors, and you still don't know, perhaps, some of the details of what you're really dealing with? I mean, how's that task going to be undertaken?
Well, that's going to be very difficult indeed, because he's delivering this with sort of one arm tied behind his back. We won't know until late in the day what the outcome is from the workers' vote, whether they will indeed ratify this latest tentative agreement that's out there. It's a 35% increase in wages. So we've come about 10 percentage points from the original offer, but a lot of people online still saying that's not enough, we need to see more, we want our pensions back. So there's still a lot of resentment and anger lingering from previous agreements that workers felt they were shortchanged. So we need 50% plus one to get this over the hump today, and it's anyone's guess whether they'll get there or not. If indeed, it would be a huge boost for Ortberg because it would really help sort of get one major stumbling block out of the way. If it fails yet again, they're back to kind of square one. They have to renegotiate. It'll seep arguably into the US election, so there'll be that political component, and we're looking for a longer recovery for the company yet.
Benny, is there a read-through to some of the other kind of big names in the space in terms of the industrial read-through? Guy and I were talking about that earlier on the show as well, but also in terms of Airbus, in terms of the way it trades. Is there a ripple effect, or is this isolated to Boeing?
Well, you know, nothing that Boeing does is isolated to the company, because they are such a sort of central part of the industrial, of the aviation complex. Essentially, you have these two companies dominating this space. You have Airbus and Boeing, and Airbus have issues of their own. Let's not, you know, sugarcoat that, but they're not as pronounced as those facing Boeing. Airbus will have their earnings next week, so we'll get a little bit more of a read from them. But really, the big issue, and that's the ripple effect over to the customers, is they're not getting the planes that they want. Production at Boeing is pretty much at a standstill when it comes to the 737 and some other planes. The only one they're really producing is the 787 at the moment, but even that one in low numbers. And that's a huge issue for the plane maker, for the airlines. They're flying older kit. We're seeing airlines like Lufthansa being forced to cancel some routes because they have to fly them on old aircraft that are so inefficient that it's no longer viable. So you're seeing that real world effect on the space. You're seeing it with suppliers, Spirit furloughing employees, Senior in the UK also cutting jobs. So it's really, wherever you look, you have this ripple effect, and that really puts into stark focus the task ahead for Ortberg, the CEO.